Okay, so the last video of the series is going to end on my current job. There's a lot of other videos on previous jobs I've had and my pros and cons about them. We're going to end on my current job, which is my favorite by far. It's the best pay by far, the best 401k, tons of PTO, 4 weeks of paid time off. Anything over 8 hours is time and a half. It's time and a half on any holidays. Tons of paid holidays, free food, any free food I want really, as long as it's within a certain date range and staled out, which it's still in date. The work is the easiest I've ever done, maybe besides like stocking, but the wage differential makes it worth it. And you max out at 7 weeks of PTO after so many years. Like I said, the 401k is the best by far. Now, when you're unloading and, case picking in these places or loading, if you're going at a fast pace and there's a lot of work to do, it can be tiring. It is somewhat labor, but it's all automated as far as the transfer across the shop. I think we're one of 2 fully automated places. So there's like 80 forklifts that are automated. We don't have to do any of that work. And there's a gantry arm that we don't have to restack everything. If you'd understand these trades, you'd understand. A lot of the hard labor was eliminated when this place opened up a year ago. And I'm thankful for that. I want to go in to my late 30s and 40s, not killing my body like I have, at other jobs. And I'm very thankful for that. Like I said, it can be tough when you're really unloading and pulling these out, trailers. It can be labor, but it's by far the easiest, and I'm very thankful for that. And the pay is phenomenal. I'm paid weekly. I got in there. It's not an easy place to get into. There's thousands of applicants. People from my last job are getting rejected out, and I'm trying to get some more people in because I love it. The only gripes I have are you have to work weekends until you build seniority and bid on a better schedule, which I'm already like top 40, 50%. So another 6 to 12 months, I should be getting, a better schedule. So weekends, which I don't drink, so I don't mind. And it's worth the sacrifice. And some of the holidays we have to work. But the thing is, you're paid time and a half plus the holidays. So you're clearing $500-600 in one day on these holidays. It's worth the while. Now, they did shut down Thanksgiving and they're going to shut down Christmas. And they're really the only 2 I care about. I'm actually looking forward to working these holidays because the money's just so extreme that it's worth it. There are bake weeks in there where they force an extra day. I think 5 weeks out of the year we work an extra day. So we work 6 days, which at the pay rate, I'm not complaining. It's a lot of money. And these jobs do exist, They're not easy to get into. You got to have a referral. You got to really try. You got to call in. You got to message the recruiters. You got to do whatever you can do, You have to really put in the effort. And if it wouldn't have worked out, I had a backup plan. I was hired at another place that I had a start date at. Wouldn't have been as good, but it was better than my previous job. So yeah, I'm very thankful. And if you look at my previous videos from this series on what it was like to work, oil field, factory, blah, 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 you'll see the difference in what I'm saying. Like the pay scale, way better. The management, way better. And all of this leads to a better quality of life and less stress. Financially, it's better. I rarely work anything over 8 hours. There's no mandated. So I have a paid lunch, 2 20-minute breaks. So I'm only really working like 6 hours and 50 minutes out of the day. And if everything's filled and our work's done, some not like Saturdays, I barely work more than 3 hours, honestly. It's slow and it's less tolling on my body, better finances. It's managed appropriately. And I absolutely love it. And the only people I hear really complaining are people that came right out of high school or people that have been there a really long time just because they're like set in their ways. And the people that are right out of high school that got in, they don't know hard labor. And I've seen a few of them get cut out already. And I'm like, man, they they go 99% of the other jobs they're going to hate compared to this. You know what I mean? They had it made. They just don't know it. They go to my last job or the oil field for a few weeks. They'll understand why everyone that comes in that's a little older is like, wow, this place is awesome. You know, but I don't lecture. People have to learn on their own. Granted, there are some areas in there that's a bit harder, you know, a bit harder work. My area is the most intricate with the computers, but then there's a lot of easier jobs in there too. But I'm thankful to be where I'm at and to learn the most intricate part of the whole place. Because once you know the computers and tagging, you can pretty much do anything in there. And a lot of people don't know that stuff, so it makes me a bit more valuable with experience. But I am loving it. And I'm on a shift I don't particularly like. I'm on second shift, but I still get 2 days off a week, and I can eventually get on to 410s, which 8 hours of that will be overtime because anything over 8 is automatic overtime. So I'll make even more money, and I can get partial weekends off. And the seniority on second's not as tough as first, which I can get the better schedules on second quicker. And above and beyond all that, my fiance works on that shift and we have the same days off. We got very lucky, so we can carpool in and we're on the same schedule. And we got extremely lucky with that. And it makes working a shift I don't like so much bearable. I've worked every shift. Third's my least favorite. I hate third shift. Second, the con to it is everyone's off when you're working, right? Like a lot of my friends that work first, they're off when I'm working, and then when I'm off, they're working, unless it's my days off. Which in reality, if I were to work 9 to 5, I would get home, shower, eat, and we'd all be in, they'd be, my friends that work earlier in the mornings would be in bed by 8, 9 anyways, so it's not like I'm really sacrificing that much social time. But that's the part that hurts, That's why I've always liked first shift, and having weekends off, the social aspect. But with not drinking, I don't really miss these times that much, and I know in time I'll get the better schedule and I'll be able to transfer to first in time. But overall, I'm very happy. I can't really every job has its pros and cons, and I'm sure over time some things will annoy me, but I've come from such grit and crap that I really appreciate it. You know what I mean? And I'm thankful for that. But that's what I'm currently doing, bread distribution. It's local. It's a bit further than my last job, but it's no more than a 15-minute drive to and from. So yeah, there are always better things out there. You might have to sacrifice your schedule a bit. But if you put the time in, it'll get better, I'm very thankful, and I feel pampered. Like, if I were to go back to any of my other jobs after experiencing multiple months of this new place, it would be dreadful. It would be completely dreadful. Like, my first month in there, I was just in awe. I'm sure things will change in the future. They may get more strict and whatnot, but I was in awe that I could just take breaks whenever I wanted. Like, you don't have to, they're not scheduled. They're not monitoring you. They don't want you to, obviously, if you abuse it, there's cameras, they can tell. But you just take your breaks at your own will. There's a paid lunch. And when the work's done and we're ahead and stuff's full, it's just like sort of downtime. You can do little odds and ends, and it's amazing. The managers are pretty cool. There's obviously lazy people. There's people that have attitudes like any other place, but that's going to be wherever you work. You could be making 200, 300K somewhere and probably still can't stand the people around you. That's just a fact of life, But, yeah, that's really it. That's where I'm currently at. And the only way I'm going to leave this place is if they fire me, which I don't see happening. Because I have a perfect attendance. I don't miss work. And I actually like it. You know, I tell people where I work now, you know, in the oil field I did too, because like people just knew you had money and you worked your butt off. But there were a few jobs I just did not really disclose to people too much, you know, and I'm proud of it. I really am. And I'm very thankful. You know, my first month, like I said, I was in awe. Now I'm sort of getting used to it. You know, you become desensitized to it. You just sort of expect things. And I'm pampered. I am. We're all pampered in there, and you just sort of get used to it because that's the job. But I always try to think, you know, I always try to think about hindsight of what I went through. There's places that give you like 2 10s and no paid lunch with like no walking time. If you even like, some places are like micromanaged to the T. If you even talk at all, you get yelled at. I've been through all that. It's just, yeah, I'm so thankful to have nabbed this job. And that's what I've been doing the past several months. And I haven't really made as much content. I've been adjusting to the new schedule, trying to keep with my lifting regimen. I put on a little bit of weight since I've gotten sober. And my diet's gotten, I haven't been as strict with my diet. And I've been failing at that. So I'm trying to fix that. But I'd rather be chunky and sober than, you know, fit and drunk. But I'd like to be fit and sober. You know, that's my goal for into next year by summer. And I hope I achieve it. You can achieve anything you put your mind to. And I got to get my caffeine under control. But I'm just, like I say, I'm not ready for all that, you know. But that's my current job. I got nothing bad to say about it. I love how it's seniority based. You can bid on schedules and promotions based off seniority. Everything. It's been a phenomenal job. And these jobs exist. You know, they're not the easiest to get into, but it's definitely possible. Never settle for less. Understand if you have to do something, you need money, you got to do it. Trust me. If you look at my previous jobs, I worked the oil field, shifts I didn't like, minimum wage for years, man. It's terrible. I wish I would have really gotten to labor earlier, but it is what it is. Or even a trade school, you know, go to be an electrician, you know, what? There's so many trades, plumber, carpenter. There's a lot of opportunities, and experience is slowly rising above education. I mean, if I were to get a degree, it would have been in IT or medical. You know, a lot of people get degrees they can't use, or they're getting degrees in oversaturated areas where these companies, they have too much supply of workers that they're paying them less. The demand, there's just too many. It's saturated. So if you get a degree in a saturated area, they're going to pay you less. They're going to pay people the least they can, you know. You got to be in demand. And I feel for people with a lot of debt. And there's nothing wrong with college, you know. But there's nothing wrong with trade skills either. But yeah, that's about it for my current job. And hopefully I'm talking here in a year, 2, 3 years, and I get to making more content here into next year, you know, and I'm acclimating to this schedule and everything. And hopefully I'm still at my same job. Life will go on either way. There's other options out there no matter what happens. Nothing's 100%, you know what I mean? But I'm not leaving on my own will, I'll tell you that. I really do. I appreciate the opportunity I've been given. But always had, you know, for the most part, I've always had a job, and I like to spend money too. Don't we all? Just try not to spend on debt, guys. That's all I can really say. I have a lot of collectibles and a lot of things, and it's all from liquid cash I have. I'll never go into debt for that kind of stuff. And I'm rambling, so I'm going to end the video. Much love.